Have you ever heard the story of a magnificent city, advanced beyond its time, that vanished beneath the waves in a single day and night? This is the legend of Atlantis, a tale that has captivated treasure hunters, historians, and dreamers for over 2,000 years. But is it just a myth, a powerful story created by a philosopher, or could a real city have inspired this incredible legend? Today, we're diving deep into the ocean's mysteries to separate fact from fiction. Let's explore the lost city of Atlantis. The story of Atlantis comes to us from one of the most famous thinkers in history, the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, around 360 BC. In his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, Plato introduced the world to this island empire. He described it as a marvel of engineering and wealth, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which most historians agree refers to the Strait of Gibraltar. According to Plato, Atlantis was a confederation of 10 kingdoms, founded by Poseidon, the god of the sea. Its capital was a breathtaking city of concentric rings of land and water, connected by massive canals and bridges. The Atlanteans were said to be a noble and powerful people, possessing technology and wisdom far beyond their time. They built elaborate temples, harbors, and palaces, with walls coated in precious metals. For generations they lived in harmony and virtue. But as Plato tells it, their human nature eventually got the best of them. Greed and ambition corrupted their society. They waged an unjust war against Athens and the rest of the ancient Mediterranean world. As punishment for their hubris, the gods unleashed a terrible cataclysm, violent earthquakes, and floods that swallowed the entire island, causing it to disappear into the depths of the sea forever. So, the big question is, was Plato telling a true story? This is where the debate gets heated. On one hand, many scholars argue that Atlantis is a complete fabrication, a philosophical allegory. They believe Plato invented the story as a cautionary tale to illustrate his ideas about the ideal state, which he described in his work, The Republic. In this view, Atlantis represents the corrupt, materialistic society that falls due to its moral decay, while ancient Athens represents the virtuous, ideal state that successfully defends itself. The story serves as a powerful warning against pride and imperial ambition. It's a political and moral fable, not a history lesson. Proponents of this theory point out that besides Plato's writings, there is no other mention of Atlantis in any other ancient Greek text. No historical records, no epic poems, nothing. For them, the lack of corroborating evidence is the nail in the coffin. But what if Plato wasn't just making it all up? What if his story was based on a real historical event, even if it was embellished over time? This is the idea that keeps the legend alive. One of the most compelling theories connects the myth of Atlantis to the massive volcanic eruption on the Greek island of Thera, now known as Santorini. Around 1600 BC, this was one of the largest volcanic events in human history. The eruption blew the center out of the island, creating a massive caldera and triggering gigantic tsunamis that would have devastated coastal communities across the Aegean Sea. On Thera itself was a flourishing civilization known as the Minoans. The Minoans were a sophisticated Bronze Age culture with advanced art, architecture, and a powerful navy. The eruption at Thera would have wiped out their settlements on the island and crippled their civilization on the nearby island of Crete through tsunamis and ashfall. Could the memory of this real-life catastrophe, passed down through generations for over 1,000 years, have reached Plato and inspired his story of a mighty island empire destroyed by a natural disaster? The timeline is a bit off, and Santorini is in the Aegean, not the Atlantic, but the parallels are striking. A powerful island civilization suddenly wiped out by the sea. Over the centuries, the search for Atlantis has become a global obsession. People have proposed countless locations for the lost city, turning the world map into a treasure hunt. Some have pointed to the Bahamas, where underwater rock formations, like the so-called Bimini Road, have been claimed as remnants of Atlantean walls. However, geologists have largely concluded that these are natural geological formations. Others have looked to places like the Azores Islands in the mid-Atlantic, which sit on a volcanic ridge, fitting the description of a sunken island. Theories have placed Atlantis in Antarctica, arguing that a shift in the Earth's crust moved the continent to its current frozen position. Spain, Morocco, and even Ireland have been suggested as potential sites. Each proposed location comes with its own set of evidence, from strange underwater sonar readings to reinterpretations of ancient texts. The problem is that none of these locations have ever yielded conclusive proof. No underwater ruins, no Atlantean artifacts, no definitive evidence has ever been found to prove the city's existence. Despite the lack of physical proof, Atlantis continues to thrive in our collective imagination. It has become a powerful symbol for any lost, advanced civilization, a kind of prehistoric utopia. The idea that a highly sophisticated society could exist and then vanish without a trace is both thrilling and humbling. It speaks to our fascination with the unknown and our desire to believe that there are still great mysteries left to uncover in our world. From books by Jules Verne to blockbuster movies and video games, the story of Atlantis has been retold and reimagined countless times. It taps into our hope for a golden age, a lost paradise, and serves as a constant reminder of the awesome, destructive power of nature. So, where does that leave us? Is Atlantis real or a myth? The honest answer is, we still don't know for sure. The overwhelming majority of scientists and historians believe it's a fable, a brilliant creation of Plato's mind. The story works perfectly as a moral lesson, and the complete lack of physical evidence is hard to ignore. However, the connection to the Minoan civilization and the Thera eruption is a tantalizing possibility that suggests a kernel of historical truth might be buried within the legend. Perhaps the reality is a mix of both. Plato may have heard fragmented stories of the Minoan collapse and used that real-world disaster as the foundation for his own philosophical narrative, exaggerating the details to make his point more powerful. In the end, whether Atlantis was a real place or not, its story continues to endure. It's a testament to the power of a good story and our unending quest for knowledge about our past. The search for Atlantis is, in many ways, a search for ourselves for a deeper understanding of civilization, ambition, and our place in the grand, often unpredictable story of history. What do you think? Was Atlantis a real city swallowed by the sea, or is it one of the greatest stories ever told? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of history's greatest mysteries. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the fascinating and the unknown. We'll see you in the next video.